Whose idea was it to say to restart the timer? Eh? Wasn't my idea. We're live. Did you know NANA's naked out there?
Is he? Oh, shit.
One countdown down, two to go, waiting for two. No, I only did the one, John. Whose idea was it to say to restart the timer?
And
Not mine.
Wells is
imaginary. Is that what I sound like? I sound like I've got bad background sound coming through.
No, only when it's looping, because it amplifies everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've got a bit of static behind you, but it's not that bad.
Would it be the fan in the lounge room? Would that be making a sound through? A fan blowing?
It could be, but I don't think it's gonna bother anyone.
Yeah. Would I rather be sitting here a bit cool with the fan going than not?
Yeah. Yeah. If it was really bad, or if it was squeaky like Mr. Sensible's, I'd say something.
Okay. Well, it's up on 4, I think. Anyway, if I start feeling it cool, I'll turn it off anyway. Yeah. Oh, Steve's here.
I can't watch some of Mr. Sensible's streams because he gets his squeaky heater, aircon, whatever it is, going, and all I hear during the entire stream is that. And I'm like, oh god, it hurts my head.
Hey Steve, do you know how to make your avatar fit the screen? I'm not complaining. I'm just
I do, but I'm eating.
Yeah, it's a good little image, that. This comes from your over on the Discord, doesn't it? The theme.
Yeah, the picture does. Yeah.
Well, we're just waiting on Peter, because Peter's got a little presentation of something that happened on Jim's the other night. Other than that, anybody got any news to report that they've observed out there on the?
Well, I've noticed I've found some new and different derp.
Ooh, new derp.
Oh,
new derp. Yeah, I have some new derp.
Not recycled derp.
Well, actually, it's a friend and colleague. It's a friend of Dr. Claudia Albers.
Oh yeah.
Who, although apparently one has to be a little careful, because apparently they are censoring her, etc., because she keeps live streaming webcams.
Oh, wow. I'm just catching up on any debates. Looks like Fight the Float Earth's been busy. McToon done a good debate with someone there the other day.
Yeah.
Who else did anything? I got Wally DM'd me some video, so I gotta see if I can squeeze Wally in. Team Skeptic's playing with Karen. Sean's got somebody, Leo. I don't know who Leo is. Pip did a wee thank you for something. I don't know.
Oh, Toon hit 10,000 recently.
Yeah, that's
that
what.
cool.
That's the one I was thinking
of. I quite enjoyed that one you did last week. Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
The one with the flat earther who was an idiot, but at least a really polite one.
Yeah,
he seemed to be a very well-read idiot too. Like it was throwing me off. I was like, this guy might be a Poe, because like he's wrong, but he's very close, so it's confusing.
Yeah. It was almost like it was one of us pretending to be a flat earther.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we could. I'm sure most of the people who go on the debunking streams could be a better flat earther than many of the flat earthers.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
Because we really understand what it would take to be flat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we would still. Well, it would still. Wendell, that was it. It would still be. It would still be. It would still be difficult to bring evidence because we just know there isn't any. You're still going to have to just deny the Earth. You're still just going to have to try and show evidence that the Earth is not a globe, rather than evidence that Earth is flat.
Then in water, the same thing's going to happen.
Oh. Sorry, I think I found the one I'm talking about. Is that the guy with the beanie? With dreadlocks? Wendell Werner?
Yeah, look. I know somebody said Clive James Mark II.
It's that one.
Not Clive. Clive. No.
Yeah, I was just looking for the McToon debate one.
Oh God, I've forgotten his name. Why do names always just disappear out of my head?
They're slippery like that. Here we go.
Slick James.
I'm not sure who said that.
Somebody called him Slick James Mark II, but I thought he was actually. Yeah.
Here, Terry, I'm gonna post the Toon one in any other vids for you.
I've got McToon already, if that's the one.
Oh, okay.
What's it called? FE Debate Gravity with Wendell Werner. Streamed live February 17. That's how far back. I'm just going back. It looks like I've missed a lot of stuff.
February 17th. So that was only Wednesday then. That was this week, not last week.
That's the 20th today on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 20th today here. Oh, God. Steve, when you just reached forward and adjusted whatever it is on the screen,
the camera,
the camera, they're not very good. They're not very good cutting the background thing out. Your arm looked like something that
I get where you're getting at.
Yeah, it almost like he chopped his arms off in the right spot.
Yeah.
I do the same trick with the right light here. You can see me head.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just sort of screw. I just put the camera on.
Yeah.
You got like half camera, half your logo thing.
Yeah, it depends on where the light's coming. The light's coming in on one side, so it's.
Steve, you need to be. I think you need to be filling the frame quite a bit more for it to work well.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like where you got the camera across the room.
No, it's right in front of the monitor, which is just
okay, it's a weird camera. It's like as if it's a.
It's just like really wide angle.
Yeah, really.
I'm using my phone for a camera.
Because it has.
Hey, yeah, I actually see what you mean now. So I've got the. Yeah, hold on.
It either needs you to be closer or there to be more light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is night time here.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Who else have we got? Scroll that way. Yeah, it'd be good if we had the actual edited version of what Peter's going to present done already, but it's not. Unless somebody records.
Yeah, it's far from edited.
Yeah.
I can give you a recap and what I showed him, and that's about the length of my talents right now.
You do it in your own good time when you're ready.
All right.
Because you know what, because you know what time you've got.
So I was feeling a little bit bored. So, like normal, whenever I'm bored, I'll quite often put Gem Panda's restream of his Discord on as I'm doing stuff around the house, just for background noise and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there doing stuff, and I hear Bev going on there making his assertions about his water level and the accuracies of said water level, and that he's going to be able to use that to measure if the Earth is whatever shape he believes it may be, obviously flat. So I set up, and I will say this quite clearly because I did the same thing when I was in GEMS. I set up a water level experiment to show the inaccuracies of a water level. Now, I'll work out the best way to do this. Oh yeah, I should be able to do it like this. If I share this screen, Terry.
Yeah, I've got you maximised for everyone, so that way if you present anything. Same as what Paul does.
So now, can you see my pointer?
Yep. Oh, we can
yes.
see. We can see
something.
We can.
That's all right. That's all right. If you can, Alan, that means everyone else can. Okay, so the picture on the right here is my water level at rest. As you can see, I put a piece of tape on the wall to reference where the two levels of the water were. Now, I told him that all I did was open the window next to the water level and that I had a evaporative air conditioner. So for anyone that understands how an evaporative air conditioner works, it pumps a whole heap of air that's been sucked through water into your house. When you open any opening for your house, be it a window or a door, you get a gust of wind blowing out of that opening, and it's quite strong, generally speaking. Now, if you have a look at the water level on the left, which I haven't moved, reference the PowerPoint that shows that it hasn't moved because it's in the same spot. And if you want the pictures, you can zoom in closely. There's a crack on the wall where the plaster joint is, just about here somewhere. But on the right here, the water level's right up high and the water level's right down low over this side. So I presented the picture on the right to Bev's first, and I said, is that a water level? And he said, yes. And I go, is a water level ever inaccurate? And he goes, no, they're always perfectly accurate. So then I dropped the second picture and I said, can you please explain this picture then? And after a bit of confusion, because he thought it was the same picture because he didn't open it up in full screen, and I go, have a look at the water, mate. It's moved 5 mils. It's 5 mils difference between the two ends. Well, all I did was open my window, and he's going, oh, you've photoshopped it, haven't you? And I go, no, that's just how it is. All I've done is open the window next to the window. Sorry, open the window next to the level. But because of the air pressure, air movement going through that window, it has changed the air pressures on the two ends of that hose, which has caused a inaccuracy of the water level. So then I proposed to Bev that if this is the case, the air pressure can change the accuracy of a water level, that means your whole experiment, I've just broken it because you've got no way of fixing that. Unless, of course, you want to go along every connection of your pipe, and at every connection you have some type of a measuring device to work out what if the air pressures are all the same, You know, that's just gonna. It's just not possible if your water levels are 100 meters long. You're not going to be able to do it all at the same time. Jem jumped on the bandwagon.
You basically broke Bev.
I broke Bev, yes. and
oh,
it
nice.
It was deflection, and but you set this up, and I go, yes, I did set it up. I made it happen as a presentation to show you that the water levels won't work necessarily accurately for what you're doing. But you made it happen. Yes. But Bev, you know what wind is? Wind's air pressure. It's a high air pressure going to a low air pressure, you know? So if there's any wind, your water level's not going to be accurate.
Yeah. and anyway, blow over the top of the pipe and you're going to reduce the pressure in the pipe anyway.
Well, that's basically what I did, Alan. By opening the window right next to it, all the air pressure was going right past the pipe and, caused the differential. But, like, I knew it would happen. And, yes, I did take full advantage of the situation to make sure it happened. And I made sure that there was nothing in the picture to show how it happened. But, I purposely did it just to break Bev.
Did he ask you how did you get the horizontal level first to have the water level on the wall like that? Like with the spirit level or something to know that that's where the water levels were going to be?
No, he didn't ask me if I used a spirit level to level my water level.
No, because the water level is always level. So it of course it's level on the wall. Why would he assume anything otherwise?
Right. Okay.
Fucking moron.
So basically.
Yeah.
So poor Bev, I kind of broke him. And it was fun because I did it so simply, and I didn't do it with a whole heap of laser levels and whiteboard markers like he normally does. It was just two pictures of, well, this is fact, and your water level's not going to work properly.
And so obviously he never watched Slice Parkane's progression into his water level testing, because these were conversations that were actually brought up in his because of the distances he was doing it at. That was a consideration of the air pressures over that 1,600 metre distance.
Well, I was really lucky, Terry, because Paul was in there at the time, and he even brought up the thing that the temperature of the water. So if it's at two different temperatures along the length of water, that also can cause an inaccuracy as well. And you know, it's. I even told him how to fix it at great expense because he's already bought the pipe. I told him to go out and buy a whole heap of more, twice the amount of pipe, and make them all closed loops so that they're all singular loops, and that way they're closed at each end, and that way the air pressure won't affect it.
Yeah.
So his answer was, "I'll just put a plug in the end of it." No. No.
Yeah, just put a plug in it. That'll stop it.
I mean, you don't have to use the same. You don't have to use the same diameter of pipe, but you have to have airflow from. You have to have it closed
point A to point B
with airflow along the length of it.
It has to be a closed loop, not a closed line.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, the top half, the gas-filled half rather than the liquid-filled half can be a much smaller diameter tube.
As long as if it doesn't impede the movement of the liquid below it, that's fine. So, well, and
all it'll do is tend to act as a damper, won't it?
Yeah. And there was the next phase that I was going to go to, if he turned around and agreed to everything I said there, but he just bit so well, and Jem just took it by hand and ran with it. I was going to turn around, and for the next phase, I was going to say, so Bev, you know when water's in a pipe like this, that it doesn't sit level, don't you? Like there's a meniscus, you know, that makes a concave shape. And I go, are you going to put detergent in your water to get rid of that, or so that you've got a precise measuring point? And how exactly are you going to measure that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are all variables that you wouldn't think of.
Well, I've got a question for you. With flat earthers being so dense and spewing so much hot air, if you put them in a hot air balloon, would they count more towards lifting the balloon or weighing the balloon down?
Depends if they're talking at the time. I think if they're talking at the time, the amount of shit they spew, they'll float up because the hot air will get trapped in the balloon.
Right, yeah, okay.
It'll be like throwing ballast over at the same time as filling the balloon.
So you just got to keep them talking. That's okay.
Yes, no, it was quite funny though. Poor Bev didn't know which way to duck or weave next.
Yeah, he didn't really go on his usual argumentative rant with you, did he? For the questions he was trying to, from what I remember.
No, it was instant. He instantly wanted to know, oh, what's the diameter of the pipe and what's the length of the separation yeah, the answer back was, it doesn't matter, Bev. It doesn't matter because it's been shown to be possibly to be inaccurate. You know, if there is a chance of inaccuracy, how are you going to counter it? That? And he had no response, so he was just trying to. Well, you made this happen. It's all faked.
Because if you make something happen, it's fake.
Yeah, and of course, the big problem is that the other thing they don't understand is all this mathematics that we use. We can use to predict exactly what happens whenever whenever you do any of these things. We can precisely predict what will happen. In fact, sometimes we can predict it with such precision that it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
Well, all I wanted to do, Alan, and I'll be honest, the only thing I really wanted to do was show Bev that there's a lot more variables out there than what he was taking into consideration. And these variables are things that are going to play an important factor on any experiment that he does. He can't just dismiss them and they magically go away.
Yeah, well, I have to admit, it was it was something I hadn't even thought about. The fact that that he's going to build something so big that he'll have that there's a very good chance he'll have different air pressures at either end of the tube.
And that's it. Like, if there's a breeze, if there is a breeze at all, there is going to be a differential of air pressure from one end to the other, especially if it's blowing along the line or across it.
Well, if it's long enough, like you said, there's going to be a temperature gradient, which is going to cause differentials too.
Ah, well. Poor old Bev. I hope he doesn't get too upset at me.
I see poor old John Rapp starting to suffer from pareidolia.
We got a wild bacon god coming in.
morning, Muppets.
Hey, Bacon God.
Hey, Bacon.
Long
Hello, Bacon.
time no talk.
Can he not hear us?
I don't know.
Don't know.
We heard
Now he's
him.
muted again.
Coming through fine on this end.
Yeah, that's better now that I turned off the stream.
Oh, okay. I'll start again. How are you, Bacon God? Long time no
Yeah,
talk.
that always helps.
Too long. But what are you going to do?
That's gonna haunt my nightmares.
You've had some facial surgery, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, got a
Very
new hairdo.
Yeah, I had to get that implanted though. Bloody expensive.
Oh dear. So, what else has been going on, Terry?
Oh, not a lot that I know of. Been really quiet out there. I haven't heard any. Like, I'm still listening to that long piece of string experiment that they want to do. I haven't heard any more about that this week. Other than that,
Simon Dan reissued his challenge. Irish Demon reissued his challenge to Daniel Pratt because Daniel Pratt, Daniel Pratt challenged Irish Demon. Irish Demon accepted, and then Daniel Pratt made some videos saying that no, he's got to accept a different challenge first because he's just weaseling out of the other challenge by accepting the other challenge that he made or something. It was something goofy. Kind of logic only a flirt can follow.
So once again, full of a whole heap of yes, but no.
Yeah.
the other story in the news this week was the Perseverance landing on Mars.
Yeah, that was cool.
I tried to watch a bit of it, but there wasn't really a lot of imagery. And is that one little bit of imagery that they used? You got to go right through it to find it. Antoff did a
Hello, wonderful person. Let me see if everything works here.
I tried to go over to the NASA sites and all that to try to find an imagery. Just one image, really, from the camera. But
There are no images, it's all CGI.
Growl. Other than that, I don't know of any other debates besides like the Flat Earth and Tooney.
Well,
we don't have any Lindsay videos.
Oh, not yet. Do you want to jump straight into a Lindsay?
Hell no!
I was like, I need a warning. We can't just go straight to Lindsay.
No, you can't just go. You can't just dive straight into Lindsay. I am doing that at the moment though, looking for him.
Fight the Flat Earth actually did 2 debates today.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought it was
last night for the UK people. The first one was the typical Flat Earth debate. However, the second one was, remember when a certain person may have taken Red Rhetoric's video of the Dragon capsule landing in the water and may have forgot to add a few frames to make it look like the Dragon capsule splashed as soon as it hit.
Wasn't it like 20 frames or something like that?
Look,
17 frames or something?
Originally, it started out as 13 frames. Then it went to 11 frames, and I think it was 4 frames all up. So,
okay.
But frames were definitely taken out to make it look the way they wanted it to. But that was, I can remember, I'm sure Sly did a good run of that when it first happened.
Yeah, he did.
Oh my god, why can I see a womble cock?
No, cock womble. It's a cock womble.
Oh, my bad.
Stop that, Alan. You're getting me excited.
I thought you said a wobbly cock.
I mean, you know.
All right, Pip just said, how rude. Mate, love you, Pip.
Now we got.
It's based on the womble that was half cock.
Now, do we want to, just while I'm getting Lindsay ready, do we want to skip his Rahu and Ketu legends and reality crap ones, or do we want to go skip to ones of secrets of the universe and how Earth is flat? Secrets of the universe.
Well, if you buy one that's
it's all the same
long,
to me.
it gives me time to go and get another 6-pack.
I'm just looking back, because he's got giving Simon down a lesson in science. That was his latest one. So if I go back, Plato's dual longitudes in magnetic field systems, science.
Yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah, I have to go back, otherwise. 5 holy days and 5 planets, then the Rahu Ketu ones, and then I'll just skip to the secrets of the universe and how Earth is flat. Yeah, I'll just get to that one.
42.
I'll put that away. Okay, we'll grab that one. Leave that ready. So,
I ducked Renee, it's all good.
So, who did, I knew I was doing something else. Fight the flat earth, fight the flat earth I was looking for, and a Wally. I've got to get that ready too.
Alright. Got
Fine,
plenty
Wally.
of scotch for
Where-
however much Wally or Lindsay that you want to play.
While Terry's doing that, a quick question for Donkey.
Yes.
Apparently, a new technique for the American police to fight First Amendment auditors, videoing them.
Uh-huh.
They're now playing loud, copyrighted music on their phones. I was going to ask your opinion on that.
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if the police are doing something wrong, film it and do whatever you can. Like that should be brought to, people's attention and handled properly. But these First Amendment auditors who are just harassing people who are trying to do their job, you know what? Screw them, and especially the ones who are just making YouTube videos and stuff and who are trying to monetize them and stuff like that. Yeah, play the copyrighted music so that they can't put their video up, and whatever. Yeah, I think it's hilarious.
I think they should play the Angels to them. Am I ever going to see your face again? With the extended lyrics at the end of that as well.
Yeah, that'd be good. Also, like anything Metallica or any of these bands that are super heavy on the
Metallica will hit you hard really quickly too.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Any of these bands that are real quick with the copyright
so someone like the BBC as well.
Oh, yeah.
By the BBC.
There you go. You could just have BBC news programs going on in the background all the time. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of these First Amendment auditors.
They're grip people.
Yeah. It's like how are you auditing the First Amendment from somebody who is standing behind a counter just doing their job, or who's just standing on a corner or whatever, or walking down the street just doing their job? Like, they're not doing anything to anybody. It's not like they ever come up to these people while they're in the middle of an arrest, and asking if it's a proper arrest or something like that. And I'm not saying that they should be doing that either, but I'm just saying it's not like they catch them in the act of something. No, they're standing around, or they're in their police station doing their job, and they just come up and start harassing them. It's like, how would you feel if somebody started come up and harassing you, or dump trash on your desk during your day? It's like, the hell?
Well, I've always wondered why the American police don't just turn around and say, "Well, I'm about to use the 14th Amendment on you, and I'm about to treat you just as equal as the last bloke I arrested."
Yeah, probably because of our history with problems with police. Even if they were doing it the right way, like, that probably wouldn't come off too well. I mean, that's what's great about the way that they generally do handle it, is they are generally very diplomatic about it, very kind to the people up to a point. They ask them nicely to leave them alone, or to continue on with whatever they're doing. They try not to bother them or be bothered by them, and it's only once they get pushed to a certain extent, or after they've warned them several times, like, you're going to get arrested if you do not leave, and they keep doing stuff. It's like, well, at what point are you expecting them not to just follow through with what they've said?
Well, how many times do they need to say, "You need to go now, or else we will arrest you"?
Right. Yeah.
It's
should be once, but for the sake of all the slow people, we'll give them up to 3 times. That third time they're getting arrested on. It's not 3 times and then they get 1 more.
Yeah, but one of the reasons why the police really don't want to arrest them,
it's just a bunch of paperwork.
It's only ever going to be a nuisance charge.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of paperwork.
Yeah. I mean, it's like in the town centre where I live. It's got to the point now where some of our Eastern European residents can pretty much get away with a lot of petty crime, because they've basically been told, whatever you do, don't arrest them, because we can't afford the cost of the translators and everything else, because it doesn't matter how good their English is, they will claim they don't speak English and require interpreters.
Yeah.
Which gets really expensive.
Sorry, Alan. Bacon's had some plastic surgery and is
Again, that was quick.
Oh, that's definitely better.
You lot stop.
I promise I'm looking at your eyes.
Yeah, all right. Just a bunch of old perverts.
They're a lovely shade of purple.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. If they were to try something along those lines here in Australia, the good officers would just slap a hindering a police officer charge on them. They'd have to go and stand in front of the man. They'd put $200 or $300 in the paw box at the courthouse, and that would be the end of it. But I understand what you're saying, Ellen, with the whole, parlez-vous français, s'il vous plaît?
Yeah. I mean, it's and the thing that I will say now, and the thing that really annoys me is it is a very small minority of the people who live in my town who come from countries other than who were born in countries other than the UK that this is a problem with.
Yeah, luckily
but that small group is enough of a problem for it to be a problem for the shopkeepers and the like.
Yeah, I was going to say, luckily with the people in the US, they're not smart enough to know how to speak a second language, so that's not really of a problem. But yeah, like you were saying, it's a bunch of paperwork for the police officers. They're going to throw them in jail for maybe a night or whatever. It's nothing going to be long term. Maybe it's just a ticket or whatever, and detain them for a couple hours. But it's just a pain in the ass to them. They just don't want to be bothered. They're just trying to do their job. It's the same deal with like these Karens going into places now and causing trouble and whatnot. It's, most of them aren't going to spend a ton of time in jail or get a huge fine or something like that. I mean, depending on the state they're in, some of them have a decent fine, at least with the non-mask wearing. But it's just a pain in the ass, and it's for everyone involved. And it's like just follow along for a little bit longer. Let us all get vaccinated in the next few months, and then everything's going to go back to normal, whether it should or shouldn't anyways. That's the way that it's going to turn out. And you're just slowing things down and making things more difficult than they need to be by being a pain in the ass. And Bacon's very horny at the moment.
Like me when I'm angry.
Definitely not as attractive.
You got a personality conflict.
Me? No. All my personalities get on perfectly well.
Okay.
I'm sure they'd all fit very well together in some sort of anime.
Extra pineapple on that pizza, sir?
Did you want me to play that, what you showed me, Alan, or you just want me to look at it?
That's the channel of the person I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Gina, doesn't understand that cheap CCD webcams have a design feature that makes a small black spot in the middle of something really, really bright like the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't understand water spots on an external webcam lens.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of her videos. Oh god.
Or other lens flares and the like.
Or how, if you're filming at a slow resolution, rain might look like streaks instead of dots.
Yeah, you've actually got to be actually
or not resolution, but
given the standard video shutter speed, which is actually not a speed, it's an angle, which is 180 degrees, i.e.
Right.
The shutter is open for half for a time that equals half the frame rate.
Right.
That means that most video is only going to have a shutter speed of a 60th of a second. Or is going to have a shutter speed of a 60th of a second. And a raindrop actually moves a significant distance in a 60th of a second.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot something.
Yeah, for everybody who caught that, her.
Yeah, I wasn't
Terry, you got a video?
I wasn't playing the video. I was just showing the. Yeah, I know. I forgot to do something, and now I've got to sort something out.
We're almost an hour past the start time.
Yeah, but I mean we are at least chatting and talking and stream running.
Yeah.
Peter, that's just wrong.
What's you got there? Pineapple and pizza.
Yeah.
I can't read the caption.
Don't tell anyone. Oh.
Shh, no one needs to know.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I was kind of expecting it to say, "Shh, we're gonna make something beautiful together" or something.
I think you need to work on your ASMR voice there, Donkey.
Oh yeah, I don't have an ASMR voice.
Just depends on how many beers you had.
Shh. No one needs to know.
Well, we can skip through McTurney's video with that, with whatever his name. What was his name again?
Wendell,
yeah, Wendell.
I thought it was a really good one. That was actually worth sitting.
I think I skipped through it before, a bit of it I watched.
Yeah, I was trying to think because I know the last time you did a show we talked about it, but we got caught up I think on another one.
That was Jason. Was it Jason?
Oh yeah.
No, it wasn't Jason. It was the other one that was on with the beard.
Yeah.
In fairness, at least that first did no maths.
Look at Talking Wolf.
Oh, apparently that was creepy.
Just a little, Alan.
I'm assuming my ASMR is what everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the guys can't. The guys out there can't see the wolf. Sorry.
Once upon a time, when I was doing lots of streaming, essentially in the middle of our night, that was how I had to talk pretty much all the time because otherwise I was getting in trouble for waking other members of the household up.
I don't know what they're on about, Alan. After about 4 beers, I reckon I could go for a voice like that.
Damn, I wasn't after you, Peter.
Oh, sorry.
As I might have said to some, there is a comment. There is a comment somewhere on Discord, essentially saying, no, infantrymen too rough." But you know, Royal Engineers are a very close second.
Yeah, true.
Oh God, now he's a furry.
Play.
Oh, press play, Terry.
Yeah. We'll get the introduction part so we find out who he is.
Well, first of all, my position is I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a globe earther. I think that there's rights and wrongs to both sides of the equation. My position is that from a third dimensional perspective, the earth is always going to be flat. The horizon is always going to rise to eye level. And as long as we are in a third dimensional space, the earth will always appear flat from our perspective. Now, if we were ever to leave the third dimensional space and enter what we call fourth dimensional space, I think our view and our perspective of the universe would appear much different to us. And I know that's probably a lot for some people to take in, but we got to understand that from my definition, gravity is space-time. And as we go further, I'll explain how everything started, and we'll get there. We'll get to that point.
All right.
But from our perspective on this planet and from within third dimensional space, the Earth is flat. There's no way around it.
Okay, so that is essentially flat earther, right? I don't see how that's different than.
I'm not a part of that society because there's a lot of things that they say is crazy. So
you won't get any disagreement from me there. But what in particular do you find the things that they say crazy?
Well, I think I'm not going to necessarily say crazy. I say there's some things that they say that aren't too correct by my standards, and one of those may be the 8 inches per mile squared. I know that equation does not fully work on a sphere. As you get a quarter through, you see how it starts to exaggerate. So things like that you can't use as a bargaining chip. All right.
All right.
Things like solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. We're going to have a problem with that on
Did he say lunar
this plane.
eclipses?
But I will.
Yeah,
He did.
He did say loony.
Well, I suppose it's close. Hey,
Yeah.
it's closer than most flat earthers get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's 1,000 times closer. I mean,
If he's working in 3 dimensions, wouldn't he be closer to a cube earther?
Oh.
or a disc probably.
This is an egg.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not the guy in that funny blue suit at the convention, is he?
No. Not my cube
Oh,
earther
the
guy.
oddball.
The cube earther bloke.
Yeah.
I'll say in retrospect, we're also going to have a problem with that on a globe Earth, because I can show you instances of certain eclipses that you can't prove how these eclipses happens. The Cenohalian Eclipse, that's an upside down eclipse. So what science tells us is
Stop. A Cenohalian eclipse is not an upside down eclipse. That's a load of twaddle.
Here's the other thing: an upside down eclipse from whose perspective?
Yeah.
Because if you're on a globe, half of the people are going to consider it upside down.
Yeah. Also, just so we're clear, a Cenohalian eclipse is a lunar eclipse where both the sun and the moon are both above the horizon. That's all.
Right.
And that's not impossible to do because the sun is big.
Yeah.
And the earth is big.
And there are big distances in between them.
Yes. Oh, and we have an atmosphere as well, which helps.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a plane on which the Earth rotates around the sun, and the moon's slightly tilted from that on the plane that it rotates around the Earth. And,
yeah, all those things.
Yeah.
I'm just really annoyed that the one chance I had in the last couple of years of seeing a Cenohalian eclipse, all I had was a big bank of dark grey cloud.
Oh, that's the worst.
At least I got home before the thunderstorm broke, and it was a big old thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, refraction is also important. Thanks, Clive.
Well, I was going to ask the most important question there, Alan, and that is, now, is the moon upside down for you, or is it upside down for me?
That's a big debate, that one. Which one's the right way up?
No, there is no right way up. They're just different.
It's just different.
Yeah, that's fine. I can live with it's just different.
Yeah.
Well, if north is up, then the Aussies see it the right way up, and we're upside down.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Because the magnetic north is actually at the South Pole.
That's correct.
For a little while.
Yeah, for at least for right now.
Yeah.
The light gets reversed in the umbra, the pre-umbra of the Earth's shadow, and we see the light in reverse. That is an experiment that cannot be recreated. And I understand why they come up with the theory. They came up with the theory because it was the only logical explanation for them, being that the shape of the Earth is a globe in their perspective. So, I mean, like I said, there's fallacies in everything, and there's fallacies with both sides of the equation. So from, like I said, I feel like the Earth is flat from our perspective, and there's no way around that. I saw a guy on that same Facebook group the other day, I think his name was Tweety. He put a post up of some buildings, probably miles away, took a photo with a P90 camera and
P90?
water,
That's an old one.
hiding part of the bottom of the building.
That's the old model, is
it?
He
says, yes, this is an instance of curvature. Well, I'm sorry, buddy, you can't see curvature at that distance, all right? If you could, then the buildings would not be level. Now, and I know the exaggeration of the curve would not be great.
What do you mean the buildings would not be level?
Well, if we're looking at a curve, if we're looking over a curve, then those buildings would be curving off also. They will no longer be level to our eyesight. Do you disagree?
Oh, you mean you think they'd tip away from us? Lean back?
Now, they would lean away from us, following the curvature of the Earth.
Okay.
If you would be able to see that much hidden, then it would. Now that's not to say that there's not curvature, because the Earth is so big that you just simply could not see it from that distance. It's perspective why it looks like that building's obscured. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree that the building is obscured by perspective. Perspective is uniform shrinkage in angular size with increasing distance. Everything just gets smaller, but it doesn't make things get blocked.
It does, because if we take you can experiment this for yourself. If you get a camera and set it on the ground, you get a level playing field, let's say a basketball court, and you walk away from that camera, you will see the bottom of your feet disappear first as you walk away from the camera. Now, we know that there's no curvature.
That's the same with the football field or any type of field. Even a slab of concrete in a building. They're all designed with the slight hump in them for the water drainage.
Inside that gem.
What'd you shut my camera down for?
That camera lens works.
Me? Because there was nobody there.
Yeah, no, I'm back.
You're going to start, the feet are going to disappear first as you walk away from that camera. And that's something that you can experiment for yourself.
What obscures it?
The floor. You start seeing the floor.
So the floor gets the floor gets in the way?
Yes, sir.
But
the floor gets in the way.
If there's an unblocked line from the bottom of the shoe to your eye or to the camera, but that light doesn't get to the camera or your eye, what is stopping it from getting to your eye?
The reflection of the floor, I guess, dude. I don't know. Now, like I said, I'm not going to tell you that I can explain the physics behind everything in our observable world. All right, but I do know that if you walk away from something, it's going to disappear from the bottom. I mean, and you can experiment that for yourself. You put your camera on the ground, go on a flat surface like a gem, and walk away from the camera.
I know a guy. He did that. He went to a track.
Right.
This guy, his name's Ranty. He went to a running track, and he went 100 meters away from this egg and a little Buddha that he set on there. So he put this egg and the Buddha on the one side, and he went all the way to the other side, and he got his P900, and he zoomed all the way in, and he could see the bottom. He set the camera was on the ground, and he could still see the bottom of those things, even at 100 feet.
Well, like you said, that's because of the capability of the camera that he was using. If you use if he didn't have that camera, then there would be some obscurities in there. And hey, like I said, I might not be 100% right. We can experiment it and see for ourselves.
Okay.
You know, I've seen people do it, but it could be they were yanking my chain or whatever. But
there could have been some yanking.
Could have been some yanking, boy. But like I said, to me, if that water line is covering that building, then those buildings should be tipping away due to curvature. They should not still be level to my eyesight.
Okay. So knowing that, when I studied electrical engineering, I had to take a lot of physics classes, and they never covered anything like this.
They never did. No, they didn't. No, mine didn't either.
Because it doesn't happen. All right, that's fine. We're here to talk about more to the point about.
Yeah, I love that because it did that.
So maybe you want to. And my position is mass attracts mass. Maybe you want to go after your explain your position.
Whoa. Okay.
Mass attracts mass, and that's the position you're going to go with.
Yes.
All right, so let's break this down. Mass does attract mass, but not due to Newtonian gravity. So there are 4 fundamental forces. Do we agree?
Yes.
All right. So those fundamental forces, yes, sir. They are gravity. They are the weak interactions, electromagnetism, and strong forces.
There you go. Very nice.
All right. So check this out. The strong forces hold the nucleus of the protons and the neutrons together. You got your electrons on the outside. The weak interactions are responsible for radioactive decay, like beta decay. I know you're an electrical engineer. You know what that is. All right. Electromagnetism.
We didn't cover that kind of whole lot in engineering, but yes, I've covered it since then. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And of course, you know what electromagnetism is, and of course, you know
that I did cover.
What you think you know what gravity is. So this is the debate. All right. So
see, this is what gets me with this guy. He knows way too much.
Would have been gravity,
doesn't he?
Gravity is the sheet.
He seems to have a bit of knowledge about some things, yeah. But just the other, but he might have the knowledge of some things, but I think it might be some of the little bit of a misunderstanding with some of it.
I feel like this guy is, it's like you know the old adage, you can't you can bring a horse to water but you can't make him drink. This is like having like the horse's like face in the water and be like, just drink the water, and it going, no, I'm not going to.
You mean drowning the horse? Can I just read a comment from Clive?
Yes, please.
There are actually 5 fundamental forces of physics. From weakest to strongest, they are gravity, electromagnetism, weak nuclear, strong nuclear, and team suckiness. The latter is mediated by the Fale boson.
That's awesome. Yeah. I found it really weird the way that he was calling them the weak interactions and the strong forces, because I've never heard them referred to that way. But I was like, maybe this is just another way of referring to them that I haven't heard of. But yeah, I've always heard of it as the weak nuclear force and the strong nuclear force.
So I consider that the space. After that, then you get your other 3 forces. Those other 3 forces were once unified until what we call the grand unified theory. All right. So the weak force, the strong force, and the electromagnetism were all one force at this point in time. At this point in time, gravity was still just space. As the Earth started to cool down, the forces split apart.
You mean the universe?
I mean the universe. You know what I meant to say. Yeah. The universe, as it cooled down, these forces split apart, and again, and it's split one more time, and you had the strong interaction, and you had a weak electroforce, or the electroweak force, because at that point in time, they were the same force. Further on, those two forces split, and then we get electromagnetism separate from the weak force. That's the progression of these forces through our timeline. All right. My problem with your gravity of mass attracts mass, because my gravity is the space that contains everything. All right. With your gravity is mass attracts mass. All right. So Newton's law, and I haven't been in school in years now, so forgive me if I jumble up some of these equations, but Newton's law of universal gravitation is force equals the gravitational constant proportional to the masses, inversely proportional to the distance between the both of them. All right?
Squared.
Squared,
Yep.
exactly, squared.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, so we go F equals G, M1, M2 over R squared.
Over R squared.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, we have a separate equation, which is Coulomb's law of electrostatic. All right? Well, Coulomb's law is the exact same thing as Newton's law, except with Coulomb's law, it has both repulsive and attractive forces. So on Coulomb's law, they're both inverse square laws. The G is replaced with a K. All right. So in that instance, we know that the attraction between masses, attraction between charged particles.
Yeah.
G is replaced by a K. Can you tell me the difference between G and K?
Well, one's the universal gravitational constant, and oh bugger, I forget the name of the one for Coulomb's law, but you know, it's a constant.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
It just makes all the proportionality work, and I'm sure Clive will tell us what K is in a moment.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, they're both forces, so they both fit into the force equation, but that doesn't mean that they're the same force.
Yeah, thinking about this, the more we talk, the more I listen to this again.
Yeah,
I'm sure this guy is a pope because he knows too much about this stuff.
Yeah,
isn't it the Boltzmann constant?
It might well be, Peter. Yeah.
I can't. I don't quote me on that one because it's been a long time since I've done it. But
yeah, it's been 25 years since I stopped being formally educated. So
yeah, I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I'm waiting in the chat for Clive Wells to spring up because we all know that he knows the answer.
Clive will correct me. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I cannot confirm or deny the accuracy of these things unless I googled it.
I've made an assertion and I hope I'm right.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's nice to have somebody of Clive's caliber in the chat, in the side chat.
Yeah.
Keep us all straight and all straight and above board.
Yeah. Clive's got the license to correct us at any time, or anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy just seems to know enough and get it just wrong enough.
Now, Alan,
that he has to know.
I need to correct you just slightly there. He knows too much and almost knows exactly how to twist it.
Yeah. Now, I will say, like, Carl might be onto something where he knows a lot of information, but he doesn't understand it. But he still knows way more than any other flat earther that I've heard, or at least knows how to talk about that information more than any other flat earther. Like, he knows where to apply it and what not to apply and stuff like I don't know. Even the other posts that I've heard haven't like sounded this educated in a lot of cases.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think the most important thing here to realize is this is a discussion. It's not an argument or a debate. He's actually having a discussion at the same level as MC Toon. Now, when you just let that, when you let that flow through your brain for a bit, that means that this guy must be somewhat educated for him to even, just to be able to throw Coulomb's law off the top of his head like that. That's not what an intellectual person can do. He has to be educated to be able to do something like that.
Yeah. Oh, and I just want to pop this in real quick because Clive responded finally. He said K equals 1/4 pi epsilon.
Yeah. Epsilon 0.
0. Okay.
Permittivity of free space.
Right.
The question, Clive, was it the Boltzmann constant?
No, that's not the Boltzmann constant. I don't think. Otherwise, I think he would have just said yes. It was. It is just literally a constant of proportionality.
Are we doing a jump, or we want a little bit more?
Let him talk a little bit more, and then we can jump.
Well, there's
always be the.
If we can clarify that the masses are swapped out for the charges in Coulomb's law also.
Yes, sir. Yeah. But do we agree that all masses contain a charge?
No.
No, that's
we don't agree with
one.
No, there's a lot of masses that are neutral, like neutrons.
Well, they're
or non-ionized atoms. Right.
Right. But as far as us as physical beings, we all have charges. So us as masses have charges. Now, we might exhibit a neutral charge because of our charges within ourselves canceling each other out. That's all that is us canceling each other out. Right or wrong?
All right, say that again.
We are charged, right? But we may exhibit a neutral charge because our charges within ourselves, within our own field, they cancel each other
out. So
they
could be, we've got positives and negatives, and they come together, and the net is 0 or near 0 net.
Right. So
charge.
And if the net is 0,
we made up of particles.
C1 is bloody 0, isn't it? Or
right.
C2, whichever point source we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have that, but you also have the fact that just by the fact that you have things like neutrons that are neutral, are a mass that is neutral, that by default goes against what he's saying.
Yes. If it's got mass and it hasn't got a charge.
Yeah. And then that's not even to say how does that, what does that say about light, which because the idea that the gravity is mass attracts mass is mostly correct, but it's you also got to remember that mass is energy, so energy is affected by gravity, and that's why light is affected by gravity. And I'm sure Clive can give a better answer to what I just said, but I mean, like what he's describing, so are you saying that light is charged in a certain way to bend and stuff? Like I don't know, it just seems to have so many holes in it.
But we absolutely know that photons do not have a charge,
right?
Because although they might be bent by a
gravity.
Really big divot in space-time,
right? Yeah.
They are not bent by passing them through magnetic fields, generally.
Yeah. Or we just haven't had a large enough magnetic field, I guess.
Well, there is that possibility that we haven't had it. Although I just did recently discover magnetic fields will change the polarization.
Okay.
From seeing that 1930s EM chart thing that's that hangs in the Lawrence Livermore National Labs in America, It's a 1930s poster on electromagnetic spectrum, and it's got some quite interesting little bits of information in it.
Yeah.
You can find it on the laboratory's Flickr site.
Yeah. And John Rapp posted Bozeman's constant for us.
Peter.
I dropped the link for
Coulomb's law.
Coulomb's law. And it's got the constant in there as well.
Right.
Yes.
So I thought I better correct my mistake.
Well, to get that out the way, we're made up of particles. Particles are not affected by gravity in the way that you present it.
Why not?
These particles are only affected by the three forces. Am I correct? If you go by the standard model of particles, if you go research the standard model of particles, they are affected by the three forces, which are the weak force, which gives the radioactive decay, the strong force, which holds the protons and neutrons together, and the electromagnetism. That's the only forces that directly affect these particles, especially at a molecular level. Gravity doesn't. Your gravity does not. My gravity does.
Pause for a second. Whoever says that at any level above the quantum level, does gravity not take effect? Of course it affects particles. Now, yes, when you get down into quantum mechanics, things get fuzzy or whatever. But like everything above that, we know gravity affects things in the proportionality that it should. But when you're talking about very small things, it's going to have a very small effect.
Yeah. And of course, it also gets a bit screwed up if you're going very quickly, or if you have an awfully large amount of mass.
Yeah. That's all you can play.
The other important factor there is finding a location that isn't already in a gravity well to perform these experiments.
Right. Yeah. Or being able to perform them in free fall.
Newtonian gravity does not.
Well, Newtonian gravity, anything that has mass is affected. So since protons and neutrons, somebody had who typed out protron? Protons and neutrons have mass,
right?
And so yes, they are affected by gravity.
They are not affected by the gravity as far as the standard particle model. So when we look at what holds that particle together, it is totally independent of gravity. That particle can exist totally independent of gravity. It exists because of the other three forces. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't exist because your gravity is because you're misinterpreting what Newton did. Newton was a genius, all right? He created a great equation, but you had people that built on that equation, and we got further along as we got smarter, as technology got better. So what you're thinking of as gravity, I'm not. I'm thinking of as electromagnetism. I'm not saying that the force that you're talking about does not exist. I'm saying that it exists as electromagnetism, and it's not the cause of things rising and falling. Okay. It has nothing to do with something hitting the ground when I drop it out of my hand.
So let's get a couple clarifications. Which one came first, the Newton's equation or Coulomb's equation?
Probably Coulomb. I haven't been in these schools in years, but
Newton came first.
Makes sense. So Coulomb built on Newton's equation.
I'm going to say mine did.
It's similar. I don't know necessarily that I don't know if Coulomb got his from Newton or not.
Neither.
Maybe I don't know. Clive Wells says no. So okay. Oh, did you drop off there?
Nah, so now we're going to end up with Clive commenting on Clive's comments.
Yeah. Clive, you want to jump in here?
Gotta love Clive being at all the chats. Just correcting us all.
If we showed the chat, we can see what Clive wrote in the chat.
Clive, the man running around correcting all of the mistakes on the internet.
There's a mistake on the internet. I must correct it.
No, that was. There you got to hit play again, Terry, to make the chat come back up.
Maybe they saw you on YouTube. They're like, dude, you're on YouTube.
There we go.
Like,
Right?
I know I'm on YouTube. Don't call me. I'm on YouTube.
Right?
Call me
No,
later.
He just says no.
Right? Yeah, shit, hang up for 1 second, brother.
I like the what's going on in our chat.
Nicholas Roberts,
John
what does
Rapp
that
first
mean?
quotes J.M.
What
Troop
was what, man?
saying
well,
Newton's
Nicholas
formula
Roberts
of
has a
gravity
question
was
or a-
stolen from Coulomb's law. And I told him, well, that's a little odd with Newton coming first. He says, yeah, what's amazing about Newton is Coulomb published his formula nearly a century later. And Clive goes, yeah, Newton invented the time machine.
I think we'll do a bit of a jump.
Do a big old jump because
that's half. He's probably going to be doing stuff at the end.
Yeah, go about halfway through.
Yeah, that stuff at the very end is after the debate. He's showing some optical illusions and stuff. So go, about half or so.
Even out further than that, and even Einstein knew this. Einstein said the further out we go from this, the further these things are going to fall apart. So when we get to the spiral galaxies, like we talked about earlier, none of these things work. General relativity doesn't work. Newtonian gravity doesn't work. We had to replace things with dark matter and dark energy to make those equations work. But a person like Einstein understood that his equation was not perfect. It was not the grand unified field. It was not the superstring theory. It did not put everything together, and we still are not at that point. I'm sorry.
I didn't think superstring theory worked too well
but
either
that
anymore.
Doesn't
prevent.
That doesn't mean
pause
that
for
math.
a second, Terry. I think he's combining two things: supersymmetry, which I think doesn't work, and then string theory, which I think has been upgraded to membrane theory, or it's called a theory, but it's not really a theory. But
it's a bunch of interconnected hypotheses. It's probably the most scientific way to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, but it sounds like he combined those into superstring theory, but I've never heard of string theory referred to as superstring theory. So I don't know exactly what he's trying to reference there.
Elmix is commenting on a stream of the commenting of a stream. Clive wins today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought, dark matter was just like matter that we can't currently see with technology that we have.
Yeah, so dark matter, as far as I know it, and as always, Clive Wells, correct if I'm wrong, or anybody else in the chat, is matter that we know must exist because we can see the effects of the gravitation of it, but we can't observe it through any light sensitive things we have in any spectrum. So we can't see it. So it's dark.
Yeah.
And it is a matter. Like it's just a placeholder name.
Yeah. Okay. So M theory is an overarching but ill-defined theory of the 5 superstring things and 11-dimensional supergravity.
Yeah. And John Rapp, no, not super cemetery. Ah, God, no,
sorry.
no, I can't say it.
5 superstring theories and 11-dimensional supergravity.
Oh, okay.
Demon Orb said Mr. Sensible should investigate cheese string theory.
Agreed. We should all send that to him.
Yeah.
Mass doesn't attract mass though, because even in Einsteining in Einstein's stuff, yeah, mass still attracts mass. That's what it does in our reference frame. That's
because of
its effect.
because of electromagnetism.
But no, but
you know,
we already tested that.
The globe Earth's answers for everything is gravity. So my answer for everything is going to be electromagnetism.
One of the most.
I say, hey, why is the sky blue? Gravity.
Nah, it's Rayleigh scattering. Michael Hoyas says, why do bubbles not rise or fall in a water column that is falling?
Say that again. Why does
so if you take
not rise or fall?
Take a water column.
And a column that's
and then so take a large bottle and you bubble water up the bottom of it, and then drop that bottle, and while it's falling, those bubbles stop.
Because it reaches equilibrium. Simple. If you move that bottle, if you take the bottle in your hand and you move it up and down, that air bubble is going to move, ain't it?
But
if we can move at a certain, if we can stabilize that velocity at which we're moving this bottle, will that air bubble stay the same? I can think on my toes too, viewer.
So here's the thing, though. We're saying that less dense thing moves downward or moves upward in a medium that's more dense, right? But when that medium is falling, that stops. Why does it stop?
Because of displacement. It's the volume is still the same. All right, the volume never changes as long as that thing got a lid on it. The position of where it is inside that bottle is going to change because the bottle itself at this point is the object, not the air bubble within inside the bottle. So, for example, if we take an object and we put it inside a vacuum, all right, and we weigh it, and let's just say a drone. I saw a guy from Action Labs. I don't know if you ever watch Action Labs videos on YouTube.
Yes, we do. Yes, we watch Action Labs.
I'm sorry, but if you put a drone in a container that is essentially evacuated, the drone isn't getting off the drone. The drone doesn't get off the ground.
No,
because that would rotors actually require an atmosphere to work.
Well, the other thing, and I don't think MC Toon necessarily hits on it exactly, and it kind of gets brushed over, but like density won't sort things out in free fall. Like I mean, it gets brought up or whatever, but I don't think it gets directly said in that way. But like that's the point of the question, and what's being asked is density only sorts things out in a gravitational field, and then it sorts it out in relationship to the gravitational field. If it's in free fall or in 0G, things don't care because density doesn't have direction.
Of course, density doesn't have direction. It's a scalar quantity.
Right, yeah. It's not a vector.
Vacuum chamber, weighed it, came out to, let's say, 1 pound. He raised it up while it's still inside the vacuum. What did the weight say? It still said 1 pound, because at that point in time, that drone was part of that container. It was inside its inertial reference frame, just like that bubble. It's going to move dependent on the conditions within that bottle. It has nothing to do with the outside conditions at that point because you have manipulated it. So wherever the water is displaced in that bottle, whatever fluid's in that bottle, the direction of the displacement is going to displace the liquid. And once it reaches equilibrium at a certain velocity, it will stay there until the speed changes. As soon as you change the speed, the bubble's going to move. And as soon as the speed stops, as soon as it stops, the bubble's going to go all the way up. is inside the reference frame of the bottle, just like we are inside Earth's reference frame. Correct or incorrect?
Yeah, I know like Clive's gonna yell about that.
Well explained. You explained gravity well.
Electromagnetism. Electromagnetism.
All right, so there you go, Michael Hoyas. That's the answer.
Irish Jew. G-string theory has a better outcome in a Brazilian atmosphere.
Connell Silver says, can you
also the zero G-string theory.
This guy that we do live in 3 dimensions, and he's talking as if we live in 2 dimensions. So there you go. We do live in. This is a 3-dimensional world, and I am a 3-dimensional girl.
Right. So you let your viewer know. Once again, let me elaborate. We are all 3-dimensional. The Earth is 3-dimensional. The difference between us and the Earth is that the Earth also exists inside the 4th dimension, which is space-time. The Earth has a mass that the Earth. Yes, we do because of the Earth. We don't have a physical mass that's strong enough to bend space. We cannot bend the space around us. We are inside the path that Earth has built.
What's the limit?
What's the limit?
What mass can bend and what mass can't bend?
It takes a certain amount of mass to bend space. So smaller masses are not going to bend space. That's why they get caught. Now maybe they might bend. They probably bend space, but such at a minuscule level that if we take a 8-inch rock and throw it out of space, we couldn't take a 1 millimeter rock and make it orbit around it. That's not going to work out. All right, but of course, mass, the larger amount of mass is going to bend the space. Now, every mass itself probably bends space, but probably to such a minuscule level
does it maybe bend it proportional to its mass?
Of course, that's definitely right.
That's
not saying that mass attracts mass, buddy. What you just said is what Wendell has been saying the whole time.
I got you, Ken.
Mass
and the chat is talking about man nipples and the thong theory.
You said what I've been saying the whole time, buddy. I think you about to be a flat earther. I think so, man. No matter how you look at it, you have never seen the curvature of the Earth. You have never seen the curvature of the Earth, neither has any of the viewers.
All right, let me. All right, PhD Tony. Funny enough, he's a PhD. He works on
these PhD guys.
His job.
Watching 2 guys. The PhD guys watching 2 of us debate. Man, thank you for watching, sir.
He's been on before. So his job, he uses gravity to find oil and minerals under the earth. So mineral, exploration companies can say, well, in this area here, do you see anything? And he'll say, oh, it looks like we have a good possibility that there's something there. Then they'll go, start digging and they'll find stuff. And then they'll come back to him again and say, you did a good job. Can you find some more? So he's been successful enough to at least, not get fired, because he's been able to help these companies find things, and he uses gravity to do that.
He uses gravity to find them?
Yes.
Are you yanking my chain, dude?
No, not at all. That is what he does. So that's important, because his question he's asking is right to this point. He says, why does gravimetric mineral exploration work? Why does gravimetric gradiometry work? Which I don't quite know what that is. These rely on Newtonian gravity being accurate.
Newtonian gravity can be accurate to a certain extent.
Yes.
It has its limitations. It is simply a mathematical equation. It does not account for everything that we see in our observable universe. It does not. So even with his PhD, I hope he would understand it. See, the problem that these guys have, they might have a good classical education, all right? The problem is that having the mind to view things and to make the discernment for yourself how something is. And a lot of these people go with whatever they saw written in that book. They say, oh yeah, that's law. Well, there's limitations to Newtonian gravity, the PhD guy. It doesn't always work. It may work in your field of work, but it does not always work. I thought you were yanking my chain.
Nope. It works.
Oh, this guy knows
So,
something that I
apparently
don't
he's
know,
doing
and he
something
uses
right.
it on a daily basis.
There's limitations to it. So it's just like, all right, so
But because,
I had a guy.
because the Earth isn't moving fast enough, we don't need to worry about going into the Einstein field equations for that, right?
Because how fast is the Earth moving, sir?
In relation to it's about the relationship.
Relative, yeah, relative to what?
That's why it's called relativity, right? So,
Yeah.
when if you want to use Einstein's field equations, solve them down to Newton's the Newtonian law. What you get is the Lorentz transformation in there, right? It's the letter gamma, and you multiply everything by gamma. So you get F equals gamma G m1 m2 over r squared.
All right.
And gamma, when it's about the relationship between the speed, the velocity of the two things that you're wondering about. If the velocity is the relative velocity between them is 0, gamma is 1, so it doesn't change the equation at all. If the relative velocity is very small in relation to the speed of light, it's not 1, but it's so close to 1 that the difference is going to be buried too many significant figures deep that you're not going to be able to measure it with the instruments that you're using. Right? So when PhD Tony does use the Newtonian formula, it works because the relative velocities aren't a significant portion of the speed of light.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, what you said sound good. I don't know. I've never done that research before, but I'm not going to debate things that I'm not well versed on. So I'm not even going to argue with you on.
We'll do another jump. Don't know what he's bringing up here.
Sure.
Oh, that's more about the gravimetric thingy that PhD Tony does.
I think he's reading
gravimetric
questions
thingy.
from the chat.
It's not in my drawer here.
Yeah.
I moved it. I have a giant clear plastic Christmas ornament that I put a magnet in, and I have a compass that I put on it, and it
Move
works.
around it?
Yeah, it works as expected on the Earth. So all right.
Yeah, it's going to point towards the north part of your magnet.
Yeah. And now, of course, doesn't. A compass doesn't point north; it aligns itself north and south. So the south is pointing north, and the north is pointing north. So all right, we've got another question here because you said Newtonian is wrong and or obsolete, and so Peter Miss Prime is asking: is F equals ma obsolete?
Force equals mass time acceleration.
Yeah. Is that obsolete?
Why would that be obsolete? That's just that's a very rhetorical question. That has no reason to be obsolete.
There's a meaning. There's a reason behind it. So
all right, break me down.
It works just fine in almost all cases, but it is not perfect. Just like Newtonian is not perfect. There are cases where it's
going to be. That's why that
more,
math.
And there is more to it. In those cases, and I'm not familiar with them, but F equals ma is not the end of the story. It's all we need for normal things, but just like Newtonian gravity, you need more in some instances. F equals ma is sometimes not perfect either.
I can understand that. Once we leave this reference frame that we're in, I can imagine the physics change a little bit. I don't think the physics are the same throughout the universe. If the universe even exists in the manner that y'all think it does, I don't think it does.
All right. Oh, yeah. All right. Gently's channel said the equation of general relativity has a big juicy G in it. We already talked about that, right? What is that big juicy G in there? The gravitational constant.
No constant, right?
So, all right. Esteban says, yes, at some point we'll come back to Earth. That's why stuff gets disintegrated constantly. It's why the SSS has to boost itself periodically. Disintegrated. I think it's when you're talking about Newton's canon that they eventually will fall, and yes, over time.
Once you run out of energy, you will fall. Whether you on the straight, I think it was Newton and his laws of motion. I think it was Newton that said that in space and the vacuum, if you push something that had no opposing force, it would just keep going on forever, dude.
That's Newton's first law.
In that straight line. So I mean, this is elementary, dude. It doesn't matter if the Earth is curved. It doesn't matter if it's flat. That's going to hold true in any instance.
Oh,
that's going to hold true in any instance, man. Don't make these guys feel like they're right by it.
The reason why, of course.
Wait. You're doing it on this bloody great big thing called Earth, which has got a bloody great big gravitational effect on anything small and human-sized on this planet, on the surface of the planet Earth. It's applying a constant force. You can't actually measure the no force applied thing easily on Earth. I mean,
yeah.
I think it tapers off a fair bit now towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, we've had all the best. We've had all the best stuff.
All right, there you go.
I think the only thing that you might be able to go back to is where he's talking about Newton's cannonball, but I don't remember when that happens.
Boxing.
That's the only issue.
Well, unless somebody out there doesn't know about that, but even I know about it, how that works.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the thing we got to is, you've got to go a very long way to not be in the Earth's atmosphere, depending on how you define atmosphere.
Oh yeah. There was that part too. Yeah.
Because if you're bumping into hydrogen atoms that have boiled away from pretty much the rest of the atmosphere, technically that's still atmosphere, isn't it?
Right. Well, and the other thing is, like at one point, I think they try and go, well, if something is in the major gravitational effect of something else, we'll call it within its atmosphere or something like that or whatever. Well, then the moon would still be part of Earth's atmosphere. But I mean, like, that's such a flimsy, ill-conceived definition for it. And like, I get where Toon was going at or whatever. So I'm not necessarily saying
I also believe that there are sort of like one hydrogen atom per cubic meter or so of Earth's hydrogen at the distance of the moon.
That's correct.
Around the moon.
Yeah.
Of course, that gravitational pull of the moon is also going to have an effect on those hydrogen atoms.
Yeah.
They whiz around.
Yeah, and at some point you've got to go, well, there's no meaningful amount of gases or particles that are being affected majorly by the Earth's mass or whatever body's mass. So yeah, even though those particles could be considered still part of the atmosphere, we're not going to, we've got to draw the line somewhere, because it's not like
they're particles formerly known as part of the atmosphere.
Right. Yeah.
A couple of particles could be floating out there in outer space, way out there, and we go, okay, we'll blast the whole of the space.
I'm sure you're going to find like, hydrogen atoms and various other bits and pieces floating around in interstellar space.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
It's just that the density of them is going to be really small.
Well, Alan, I think the easiest explanation is the old, if you've got an empty jar and you put a grain of salt or a grain of sugar in it, that jar is no longer empty.
It wasn't empty before you put the grain of sugar in, if you want to get technical.
Well, no, ignoring air, there's nothing in the jar. And you put a grain of sugar in that jar, it is no longer empty. That's space.
Yeah, it's not exactly full either.
No, it's.
I was gonna say, if you fart in a room, at some point you're far enough away from the smell to be like, well, I'm not in the fart, but I mean, like, we all know that spreads out through the entire room.
Yeah. Yes. Much better at a concert hall, not a lift.
Gravity does not exist, then why would a more dense object go to the bottom of the ocean and not equalize floating in the middle of the ocean?
I want to know, is this person serious? I don't even know if that one deserves an answer, dude. It's going to go to the bottom because it's more dense than the medium it's in. So there's no way that it's not going to sink to the bottom if this object is more dense. Yeah, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
Well, the density of water actually stops getting more dense at a certain level. The density actually doesn't change anymore once it gets farther down.
So what does that mean?
Yeah, I guess for your relative density thing, it still goes that way. We still don't know the actual quantity, why it goes that particular quantity.
Right. It's all going to be based on density. If the water becomes more dense than the rock, then the rock is not going to sink anymore. It's simple and plain.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, you're not
there you
going
go,
to sink.
Stay Foxy. I like that name, Stay Foxy. Andreas, I didn't get this part of his question because Andreas is the moon in the fourth dimension. He says, because from the moon, the Earth looks like a globe. He said.
Right. I don't believe that we ever been to the moon. All right.
Well, we haven't been
I
to
see
the
the
moon.
pictures
Not another one.
that they got of the Earth from the moon, and I don't see much. I don't see the Earth rotating. I mean, if it's right there, how about let's send the camera up to the moon
picture.
And let's
In a picture, you don't see the Earth rotating.
I'll see the Earth rotate in a picture.
You know what I'm saying, a video or whatever. But you don't get to see all of the things that they tell us. And I'm just a person that's not willing to believe anything. I can guarantee that my IQ is on par with everybody else in this chat, or even much better. It's just that
That's like the same one when they say when you see the videos from the space or whatever, you don't see the clouds moving and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, keep pause for a second, because I just want to laugh at John Rapp saying someone on the ISS one time said it smells of farts, and then I want to say, Clive, you were in that chat. What do you think of this guy saying that he's smarter than you? Yeah.
I got a higher level of discernment. It makes no difference to me one way or the other whether the Earth is flat or round. It's just it's an intellectual, nerdy conversation I like to engage in. But I got to get up and go to work every day. We live in the real world. Yeah. This is purely a nerdy conversation that we're going to have, and I just disagree with you guys that math can answer all things that we don't understand. There's phenomena that we cannot explain, but of course, everybody thinks we know everything. Somebody from NASA said something and is right, even though 20 years from now, somebody else is going to say, no, that person was wrong. That's the kind of way science goes, buddy.
Yeah, it's always improving, always expanding on the previous stuff. All right, this is a good question. Indie Tiger says, how can electromagnetism explain non-ferrous items being attracted to the ground. For example, lead is diamagnetic. It resists magnetism. Shouldn't it float if it's magnetic? Now you're saying it's electromagnetic or electrostatics.
Is it denser than the medium that it's falling through?
Yeah. But
if it that's the first rule of the equation. If something is more dense, we can get rid of Coulomb's equation with falling objects. We can get rid of Newton's equation for falling objects. Objects fall because they're more dense or less dense than the medium they are in.
But why that
because
direction?
That is the direction that we are given for down in the third dimension. Now, if you want me to break it down from your spherical globe perspective, we follow a curve. That curve gives us the direction of down, gives us the direction of up. Anything that we see falling is actually falling along that curved space. It only appears straight to us. You understand it? It's a very, very simple idea.
That is, now, you did just describe, I mean, you know what I'm going to say. You just described gravity.
That's, if we're moving along
he also
that curve,
didn't answer the question.
Our reference frame, we are not moving at all. From Earth's initial reference frame, we are totally motionless. That's how we perceive it. Now, I do get where you globe guys say, yeah,
you're not addressing the properties of lead and those type of metals.
And no, John, no, lead is not denser than a flurf. Nothing is denser than a flurf.
I get where y'all think that we're crazy. Oh, you think that I'm crazy because, like I said, I'm not a part of that group,
You are less crazy. I'll give you that, Wendell. You are definitely less crazy than.
Thank you, sir. Because I feel like
that I've talked to.
I shouldn't be crazy for feeling like there couldn't be a person standing at the top of the globe and the bottom of the globe. When I was a kid, I can remember asking my science teacher this question.
What is so difficult about that?
They said that the core of the Earth is in the middle or whatever. I said, dude, so what happens if you was to go to the North Pole, you drill a hole straight to the South Pole, and you drop me inside that hole? And I asked my teacher, I said, what would happen? He said, what do you think would happen? I said, well, from the way you're telling me, I'm going to fall infinitely. I'm going to fall to a point past the center of the mass, which is center of the mass of the Earth, which is center of our gravity. I'm going to get so far down from that I'm going to slow down and I'm going to fall again the other way. And then I'm going to continuously fall until something stops me.
Yeah.
Back and forth forever.
If there's if you evacuate all the air.
There's no stop a second.
Exactly.
If you made a hole through the center of the Earth, come out, diametrically opposite, and you jump in, you would actually oscillate backwards and forwards. And I can't remember what the period is. 28 minutes or something.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they were getting at is that, obviously, you get rid of friction and things that would slow you down or whatever, because that would eventually bring you to a stop in the center. But if you had a completely frictionless thing or whatever, you would fall back and forth from one end to the other end, for forever or whatever. I mean, I don't know why that's such a big deal, though.
Of course, yeah, in an experimental manner. But I had a problem with that as a kid, so I said, well, teacher, what happens if I just keep going? If something pushes me on my feet and helps me go through the South Pole, I said, will I come out feet first or will I come out head first? I jumped in head first, right?
Oh,
I'm not going to come out feet first.
You went head first.
Yeah?
You went.
You always go head first, man. That's the only way to go.
All right, yeah. So if you come out head first, if you go in head first, you're going to come out head first.
You're going to come out head first.
Yeah.
I said, dude, man, that's I'm saying. So I went in upside down, but I'm going to come out right side up. And even as a kid,
What? I don't see the
didn't
problem
make
with that.
sense. Now, you don't see a problem with that because of the education that you were given and because of what somebody told you. If nobody told you, you would have had a big problem with that. Our children have problems with that until we explain to them the system works. And that's where we get into the whole brainwashing of our youth. That's where we start to brainwash our youth, because we have no proof that that would work in that manner. There's many different scientists that might agree, they might disagree. We have no way of proving it.
My basic argument against the education of what we get told for what he's trying to say, the brainwashing thing, is you get taught 1 + 1 = 2. You get shown why 1 + 1 = 2. You don't just get told 1 + 1 = 2 and that's it, and that's the way you get taught.
I never thought that would be a problem. The orientation never was an issue for me. I don't know why. And so this, remember I was talking to you,
down.
I was telling you earlier about this guy named 33. And he talks about that. He can't not talk about drilling a hole through the earth and coming, how do you come out? And he does that. He only has like 2 or 3 questions he ever asks. And he's like, gotcha. Like, why is that a thing? It's not a thing. All of us are like, why is that hard
as humans?
Why is that? And I think
as a child, it's hard.
I think you've given me a little peek into it. Like for you, that was a challenging thought. For me, it never was. I never, as a kid, wondered, would you come out head first or feet first? You'd go the same way that you entered. So
it mattered to me because they told me that there was no such thing as direction in space. So
there's
in my mind,
orientation.
am I feeling right? So am I feeling direction now, or do I know which way I'm orientated? I went in head first, and I come out orientated right side up. Hey, but brother, I'm gonna have to let you go. I got to get to this job.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but we need to do this another time. I really enjoyed this.
I've got a guy who was in here earlier, Red's Rhetoric, that would maybe be interested. But I'll hit you up. I'll let you get going, though.
Thank you, brother. Hey, I appreciate you, MC Toon. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Wendell.
All right, brother.
Oh, we'll leave it there.
Yeah. And that wasn't Wendell quitting for any other reason that he actually had to go to work.
Yeah, and well, he had to go to bed, I think, so that he could go to work, as it was what was going on. But I mean, and that had been stated early on that he was going to have to leave at some point, like that, like you knew about it ahead of time.
Was that also right before Toon's 40K subscriber stream as well?
Was it? No. The bearded guy that we listened to last week was the one before the 40K.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did another stream that night. But I mean, he did I think he did an after show after that one where Reds and some people came on and talked.
That was it. He did.
But
well, it's been wonderful, but I'm going to have to go. But before I go, I'd just like to say there's 24 people watching and there's only 11 thumbs up. So people, you need to fix that. That's inappropriate.
Yeah, not even any thumbs down, Alan. That's even worse.
Oh, hang on. I'll fix that. There you go.
Oh, is he asking for some thumbs down? All right. Just I like. There's not new thumbs ups. It's just all the new thumbs downs. It's all the people who were thumbs up are now switching them to thumbs down.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
Who cares? It's the interaction. The algorithm worries about, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. I think the only thing that it affects the thumbs down affects is for you personally. It'll recommend less of that content creator, but I don't think it does anything for the content creator.
The more interaction you've got, the more YouTube will pump it out.
Yeah.
And that's it. And like you said, Donkey, it's if you thumbs down it, you won't receive notifications for stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, it's been absolute pleasure and wonderful being here again. Thanks for tonight, Terry and Alan, and the rest of the panel. And I'll catch up soon.
Thank you, Peter, for coming by.
No. My pleasure. It always is.
All right. What are we up to now?
You've got a short little Lindsay, because we all know how
short-
long it
I've got
actually
a
takes
short.
to deal with Lindsay.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was looking at here. He's got a 22-minute there. I don't think there is any short. I don't think there is any short.
Halfway down my glass of whiskey.
27 minutes, 20 minutes, 27, 14.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do a long one, we might as well do a 27-minute one because then at least we know the camera's gonna shut off on it.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
That's always good.
Well, he's doing Secrets of the Universe and How Earth is Flat Part 1. And he's got two parts. He's got 2 parts to that.
Oh, God.
And then What is the Moon Really Doing? That science cannot tell you. See, I'm really far behind on a lot of these ones. The Sun and something.
I mean, part of me is interested in what he has to say about like what the moon is really doing and stuff, but it's like the morbid curiosity more than anything.
Well, I'll share his thing, that way you can actually see. Where are we? I'll go to that one. That way the guys out there can see. So his latest one's giving Simon down, so we don't need to play that one just yet. We'll get around to that one.
Oh, he's bouncing. Okay. Reading from a tablet or a phone or something. More flat Earth science. The real cosmology. Wait, I thought we already got the cosmology. Is he redoing topics?
You'll have a red bar underneath it, like down here where I've.
Okay. So
why
what's
365 days on a 360-degree sphere? That's been watched.
Okay, so 5 holy days and 5 planets.
we're gonna miss.
I think we watched that one though.
Yeah, this one here's got that one on and on the.
He is starting to become a little bit more consistent with his rubbish.
You mean he's starting to repeat himself?
No. I mean, he says he's now actually, when he comes out with his rubbish, his stuff seems to be, the diagrams are words that come out of his mouth are different. The diagrams are becoming consistently similar.
He's got He's got some other visual aids in this shot. Look, these 3 there.
Yeah. I kind of say we start with the part 1. Because what's below that? What are we skipping? 5 days, 5 planets.
Yeah, the Rahu K2 and all that crap. Yeah, we're just.
Yeah, and I could have sworn we watched those anyways.
Okay.
He talks about Rahu and Ketu a lot, so.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that makes all of this so difficult. It's hard to tell when we've
watched something.
Yeah, watched something when he talks about it in like 5 different videos.
Well, if anyone picks up on if we've watched this, let us know.
Welcome to my channel, Lindsay Harris's Flat Earth. We're going to talk about the realm we live in a little bit more today. And this is basically it. When I first set out on all this stuff, I was reading Plato's dialogues. And one of the things that stuck in my mind, one of the first things I realised back then, well, not sure if I realised anything, but it just stuck with me, was the ultimate geometrical design is the triangle. And I didn't know exactly what it meant, but I just got this intuition that it was the ultimate, and somewhere in there is the secrets.
I mean,
so
I
that
guess
was
he's
about
got
2 or 3
some
years
point
ago.
to that.
So I've now come to the point and realised how everything is working now with our flat Earth model. And it's based on the system. It has 2 triangles. Everything in our realm is based on a duality, but involves a trinity, because the trinity is the hidden numbers in sacred geometry, the non-physical numbers. So everything's a duality in our physical understanding of the world, but the third entity is the secret. Once you understand the secret, you start to understand the whole realm. Now, looking down on flat Earth, is the duality of that and that coming together. There's 2 systems coming together, and then you have, but the opposite is the tropics in there, and there. So there's.
Clive said triangles are the natural predators of lifts. Yeah. Yeah, we know somebody that in particular.
I would have thought that they were more of just an allergen.
These magnetic fields travel to the tropics, lowest pressure medium. They go to the tropics and then pass down through the Earth. It keeps the cycle going. And then you have the above Earth, which is positive, and below Earth is negative. So you look at this and you go positive, negative. And in our world, that's Earth, right? But then also there's fractals of, like you break it all down, like an atom, you break it down into the electrons and protons, and then you get into
but atoms aren't
bosons and all
fractal.
that sort of stuff.
I know what is fractal.
Overall, here's the system.
It's not even
we
right.
have Earth there. So there, now we have 2. So then you break these 2 down.
You're not right. You're not even wrong.
We're on Earth, and we now have a dual system.
Yes, fractally.
Above Earth. Down here, there must be a dual system as well.
Yeah, make it up as you go along. What's it?
Right?
I mean, he's making it
Stop and think about
fractals. I
Here
get
we
what
have
he's
the
drawing,
negative
but
Yeah.
field
I don't understand why.
coming up, and this is like a ring magnet, right?
Hang on, did he
It's like a ring.
just say negative magnetic field?
Probably. I don't listen that closely to him.
You shouldn't say that, Alan, because you know I might have to rewind it if you want me to rehear it.
I know
That's
I
the choke
have
point.
negative.
Okay.
The magnetic fields will converge in here. Get squeezed in there. So they come up. They're going to come up. They come up here through there. The field from above, positive.
Fractangle.
Get squeezed
Thanks,
through here.
Mark.
There, mate. This is where we have our sun.
That's a new
And
term,
the whole
9 o'clock.
celestial system is all in there, and it's all amplified out. I won't go right to that, but check out some earlier videos. So that's our realm above Earth. And you come below Earth, so that's our physical realm. Okay, everything's going on up there. Earth comes down like this.
To come down and go boom boom.
This comes out to the equator. That's the Polaris rotation. You think about it. So you've got a northern rotation, and then you have a southern rotation. But it's all coming out of here. You've got one view up that way. You've got one view coming back onto a firmament. It's curved. So when you see everything coming out of here, you see it coming around from the east, but it's basically curving curving in this dome. That's what happens in a dome system. So we get the two rotations, and they're opposites. They converge. They both converge.
Paul, I still don't understand how he can have how he can try and think he's got a southern celestial pole when all he's got a two-part dome. The two halves are rotating in opposite directions. They're still rotating around the same point.
But that's just what he wants you to think.
Oh, jeez, John Rapp.
There's nothing more to that comment.
I'll read out his question. Okay, we're asking Lindsay. If you have three pyramids with sides 350 cubits, 350 cubits, and 350 cubits each, what is the magnetic vortex field strength in negative kiloFLOPS?
46.
Yeah, Clive. Unfortunately, Terry and I guess myself are far too small a channel for him to come and talk to.
Oh no, so he said Mickey. No, his words were Mickey Mouse channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
But actually, if we were a Mickey Mouse channel, we'd be one of the biggest channels in the bloody world.
Yeah, right. Like you'd think if you were a Mickey Mouse channel, he'd want the attention or whatever. Because I mean, even if it was bad publicity, like that would bring a ton of people to his over to him just to see, you know.
Yeah, I mean, don't underestimate the power of the mouse.
Well, I'd like to know how Simon Dan got hold of him, or how he got on to hold of Simon Dan in one of his latest vids. That's interesting. That'd be interesting.
It's easy. Make a video in which you put Simon Dan in the title and in the a picture of him in the thumbnail, and I'm pretty sure Simon Dan will get to hear about it.
Yeah.
So, looking at them, they're opposites, but as a whole, they're going together like this. Now, so there's our physical realm. So down here, even though it's still Earth, probably goes like that.
Well, that sounds better.
We have the non-physical. You've read the stuff like the Egyptian stuff, Thoth and all that, and emerald tablets and stuff. They talk about Aminte and all that.
Oh,
well, down here's
God,
the
emerald tablets.
We live up here as the physical beings. Down here is the non-physical. So it's like a holding bay down here before it becomes.
What's that about those emerald tablets?
It's so some dude in, oh God, I forget, like the mid 19th centuries. I forget if it was what decade it was in, but basically said that he had some psychic link to Thoth. And note, this guy was not Egyptian or in any way connected to,
or even
to Egypt. Yeah. I think it was somebody from the UK or America, but basically was saying that he had a connection to Thoth, and Thoth was actually this other dude, and he gave him these emerald tablets, which had all this information that was apparently missing, and God, it's just a bunch of woo.
That sounds awfully like the Mormons, but I know they were gold tablets.
Yeah, they were gold tablets. That was earlier and a bit different, but I mean kind of the same. But yeah, this was just a big, like we think, like the spirit science stuff is built on it as well, and it's used as a source of a bunch of woo.
Oh, good old Patch.
Yeah. Patch talks about it quite a bit.
They just described Mormons there. That'll make sense.
physical, I think.
Yeah.
But down here, you might have seen videos of orbs. Orbs in caves and that. I noticed them in the video I was watching regarding the...
we call that dust, Lindsay.
The pyramids and
lens flares.
Yeah.
And even dust in lenses occasionally.
Yugoslavia.
If you shine a bright enough light through the lens.
Anyway.
Well, from time to time, insects.
Egypt. And I'm taking videos and filming that inside the tunnel as we walk up to the inside the great pyramid of Khufu. And the camera wasn't picking up anything. Video or photographs. But when I pulled my phone out, I started filming, and there's all these orbs. But just before we go up the shaft, there's the female's chamber down there. So you go down the stairs, we weren't allowed to go down there. So you go up a few stairs and you start heading up the main corridor. And all these orbs were just flowing from down below up. I showed a few people.
Like dust and sand and stuff falling because you're inside of a giant
went back later on
old
that day,
pyramid.
Nothing. So I went back another day, twice, and still nothing. So some people might say, it's just dust.
Good one, Clyde.
Did they do the vacuuming after I'd filmed it or what? So there's something going on down here.
You're just thinking that Lindsay's view on flat Earth is to flat Earth what Mormonism is to traditional Christianity. Yeah.
That might be true.
We know there's plenty of caves in that tropic region. Just outside the tropic region, 2 degrees around here. This is where the deserts and all that are, Egypt, etc. And then you've got the sarcophagi, those massive 100-ton granite sarcophagus with nothing in. Slide the lids open, there'll be nothing in there. They never found a king inside them. There's even some still submerged in water.
Well, that's because some fellow broke in there hundreds or maybe even a few thousand years ago and bloody well stole it.
And we have found other sarcophagi with the buried, like that was one of the big thing about Tut's tomb, is because it was so well hidden, because it was probably like a commoner's tomb or something like that, or not necessarily not a commoner's, but a lower person's tomb or whatever, other than the pharaohs. It wasn't this big show or whatever, and so he was actually in there, and that was the big discovery at that time was that the other ones, you got this giant monument, people are gonna find a way into it and steal the shiny things from inside of it. Well, you have something that's hidden under sand and not noticeable to anybody. Yeah, it's going to go unnoticed. But
there's some in electrified water, because there's energy coming out of these pyramids, because they know the system, positive, negative, and they're sitting on this border here. There's something going on there, some electrical system. So where was I going? So this is negative realm down here, physical realm up here.
We'd all like to know, Lindsay.
I've gone through that enough. But these numbers...
I thought he was going to get into the batteries and all that sort of electrical thing of how the pyramids go. He didn't quite go there, he was nearly.
It was 3, 6 and 9. So 9, the hidden numbers, 9 being centre. So centre, we do not see what's coming. We do not see what's in the centre. We don't see where creation is. It's singularity. It's what science knows about, but they don't know where it is. They can't figure it out. It's all back there in the centre. It's hidden. It'll all shrink back to probably an apple or less. So we do not see it. But we see the projection. We're seeing all the projection. Look up in the night sky. There's the Milky Way. The sun's sitting in the Milky Way. And it's all in the centre there. It's sitting vertically in here. The Milky Way sits vertically in here. It's not seen in the northern sky rotation. It's only out in the southern rotation. Everything in here, it's there. It's seen out in the sky. Not up there. Although if you look down on it vertically, it's all there, but we can't tell. Only this vertical image is seen coming out into the sky like this. Otherwise, you're just looking straight down there. not seeing it. But Polaris is the sun. Just as the sun is here, is Sigma Octantis. We see that Milky Way curve in the night sky because it's going around inside a dome. One end of it will always be from the north though. It appears that like it'll come up from the east. But that end is basically the north. Remember, it's all reflected. And when it's up in the night sky, you'll trace it back to the north as the sun, as the southern end curves around. I forget which way it curves around over the night before it heads back that way. But you've got to realise that it's turning in here. The sun is there in one phase, and it's obviously at the back here, and it's just turning slowly. As that turns, it's turning at the same pace as the magnetic fields out here move. Everything is moving together. There's only one system moving everything. So this light isn't moving by itself in the magnetic field. The magnetic field is not moving the light, but the light is moving with the magnetic field. You know what I mean? So the reflection is turning out here in the night sky. And if you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, you get to understand, or try to.
Yeah.
I think he just claimed that, no, he said the light is moving with it, but did he claim that the magnetic field was moving the light, or was that or did he just gloss over what was turning the light?
Yeah, he does that a lot. He says something and then he glosses over it and then brings something else into it, and then you go, what?
You know, because as we've already mentioned, magnetic, as far as we are aware, magnetic fields do not bend photons or move, cause photons to change direction.
That this rotation is always moving west. See how it works? This doesn't move anywhere, it just stays there turning, but you won't get... The obvious sign is you don't see a full 360 or 180 because you're only seeing half the night, right, on our sky. You won't see a star.
When he was saying that, I was thinking, what, you don't see 24-hour night because it's night.
Do a 180 degree move because of this turning.
This is where I really want to play Peter and our northern and southern celestial pole rotation video that Peter and I made.
Mm.
They're always coming in and going out because the magnetic field's flowing like this, going down through the earth. So it's always magnetic fields coming in and always stars in it because they're always coming out of here. As that turns, it's turning and this field's moving. So you might see the stars start off here, there, and they'll disappear. Then you get another magnetic field coming out, carrying the next lot of stars from this reflection. As they come in here. And
yeah, he is saying that the magnetic fields carry the images of the stars.
Right.
So somehow he's getting magnetic fields to accelerate photons.
Disappear.
I mean,
interesting.
The magnetic field goes down through the earth.
Yeah.
But the field is still
sadly, it's not the
here.
craziest thing he said.
The star's always coming in. So it always looks like you always look as though you're looking at one rotation.
I was referring to things that are actually
out, new ones are coming in like this all the time. You don't actually see with your eyes that the field is actually moving like this.
Are we double speeding Lindsay now?
With your time lapse.
No, I got him at 1.5, I think.
Seeing there are some that don't line up. So there we have 9. 6, you think, well, humans have 5 senses. Sight, hearing, smell, taste and touch. But there's a 6th. Well, we don't know. We don't use it.
Yeah, sense of humour.
We all sense things. That's the 6th sense. The hidden number. That's an obvious one. And 3.
We actually have a ton of
words of duality,
senses,
but there's also a third entity.
Whatever.
The spiritual side, the side you don't know about. What's an example? Did I speak of one earlier? Trinity.
I was going to say,
Well,
here where I am, by the way, you can pretty much you can get pretty close to 270 degrees of star rotation in a star trail if you start in the middle of the winter and start as the sun goes down and go all the way to sunrise the next morning, because we get nigh on 18 hours of darkness.
Yeah. And for Little Wolf, proprioception, I think is what it's called, is one of my favorites. It's how you can tell where like your hand is when it's not in your field of vision.
One example is what we've just done in the video. You've got the solar eclipses. You've got the mother and the father. That's the moon and the sun. And then you've got the sun, SOM. That's the hidden identity. That's the third, the Trinity and the set. And that's the hidden planet.
Yep, the sun, and then you have the other sun. It's not a sun.
In the religion, the Vedic cosmology mentions the Rahu and Ketu, the planets you don't see. We're not told about. I explained all that in the video just recently. So there's one Trinity.
That aren't real.
And then there's,
if you can't see them, where are they?
The Father, the Mother, and the Holy Ghost.
There's no evidence
The
for
Mother,
them.
Once again, is the Sun and the Moon, and the Holy Ghost is the secret that sort of moves things to enlighten a human being. It's the godly thing. There's plenty, I just can't think of them right now. But trust me, there is.
Yeah. Yes, he said smother.
Well, I don't know if that's one of them. You got magnetism, the magnetic field, and the electrical field. Then you have electromagnetic.
Yes,
I could excuse some of his. Oh, I can't remember that right now. If he was doing this as a live stream,
I'm even willing to give him the exception of letting it go, because I've seen so many people's like pre-done videos or whatever where they don't do a good edit or don't go back and look something up or whatever. Like, I'm not saying that it's you should do it that way. You should know what you're going to say ahead of time. But like, I've seen that enough in kind of the amateur kind of styles of a lot. So I could even give that up if like everything tied together and what he kind of forgot was like, okay, well, I can see how you might miss that in that state or whatever. And then he added some annotation for it or whatever later. But there's just like, he's clearly just making this all up or reciting things that he heard off of some YouTube somewhere or whatever. So it's not like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Magnetism. You don't exactly see that, but there's a few. Okay, so 369, sacred geometry, the hidden numbers. Tesla spoke about, and I've shown a bit of it in earlier videos with how I worked out the moon and the cycle of the moon and everything.
Tesla spoke about 369, did he?
So
yeah,
he played around with the numbers. I don't know.
recommend
His
that
maths
people
is not too good.
See this?
No, I meant Tesla said something about 369.
Expand a bit on this, but then I came across this.
Probably not.
And it's a video called Akashic Records, The Unlimited Knowledge of the Universe. That's worth looking into. You get the feel of the whole situation here. Akashic Records, The Unlimited Knowledge of the Universe. I think the site's called Universe Inside You, and it's about 7 months old, that video. And it's all about the knowledge.
Oh, see, he has notes for that.
Enlightened, the human being.
Yeah.
But all of his research and that's not scientific based. It's all just woo sites and all that sort of places.
All about the kings in Egypt and all that. And this knowledge is basically written. It's like the 10 Commandments, isn't it? Moses had the 10 Commandments, tablets, right? Well, this is all connected. The knowledge is in there. But in the Sumerian king and that, they had they got the bags. They carry the little bags, handbags. People have no idea what they are, but they're representing the tablets
like that band is basically the rope with it tying the tablets together. You have tablets, remember, like Flintstones, the books tied with a rope.
Flintstones.
Those little handbags represent the knowledge, the records.
Using Flintstones as an
That's why
analogy.
they're carrying them. It's another representation of the Uraeus, protection. It's different, but you're protected once this happened. It represents protection, but really it means he has gained this knowledge. He's now protected. He is a king. The Ankh represents that divine moment as well. But it's all representing a divine moment in time. But you just need to understand the realm we're in. It's just like a torus field, magnetic field. There is a tree of life in here because the tree represents all the celestial bodies, and it's this shape, isn't it? It's like a tree. Cool, that's the Polaris rotation, and these are the roots. But basically you've got the negative field coming up, the positive field coming in, and the sun. But it's a tree. All the celestial bodies are in there. Don't eat from the tree of life. When really, in fact, he's hoping you will. That was the goal of life, eating from the tree of life. Because in the tree of life is up there is the moon. And it's all to do with the magnetic field of the moon and the magnetic field of the earth. And the snake, serpent, represents the magnetic field of the earth. Along the earth it goes, but at the right time, right frequency, what does it do? It comes up. The head of the serpent, play the right fiddle, right tune, it'll come up. It's the same at a divine time in September, the right tune. The earth's equal, magnetic field's at its maximum at 3 to 3:30 in the morning. You get a full moon. That's the Trinity. September, full moon, and 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A man gets an awakening. That's the divine story, the Jesus story, and what all the Egyptians have left us. Ancient Egyptians, the whole story. It's the meaning to life. So there's the tree. There is the tree because it's the magnetic field. You've got it going down this way, like this, down this way, and back up that way. Right? It's just the way it is. And then you have an opposite. It's always a dual system, dual action. It goes negative in here.
Wait, did he say the election?
Come out. So you still get a flow going that way and that way. It doesn't all go in there.
Surprised he didn't say the erection with the
Punch
pictures
point
that he draws.
Again, this flow continuously going down, negative, and it's when it comes out of the ice it changes. So it goes up, comes out of the ice. Positive, goes negative. Negative. There's a little problem here. Negative. It comes out of there, it's got to be coming up here, negative. Has to get into there, negative, to be the opposite, to create this negative. Or does it go positive? Maybe it does, maybe it is.
I'm positive about something.
But this is the magnetic field.
I love these scenes where he's arguing with himself.
Himself,
Do this.
Yeah. Am I right or am I wrong?
knows?
No, I'm wrong, but I think I'm right.
Bang.
Nobody knows, Lindsay. Nobody knows.
That's all I have off the top of my head. Thanks for watching.
Oh. Being you to walk out.
Yeah, it was only 22. It wasn't the full 27, was it?
Yeah, he doesn't like being cut off. He doesn't want to cut himself short with his presentation. We might make it a little bit shorter again tonight. Oh, today for you, Alan.
Yeah. What's it been?
That's
I mean, we're coming up on. We've got 15 minutes till we've been going 3 hours, which is probably actually a nice length of time.
Yeah, especially with how late we started.
Yeah, well, I know. I was hoping they'd finish.
Yeah, you might have told us, but you didn't tell the Peanuts why you were late.
Oh, I didn't tell the Peanuts. No, I didn't.
Next door neighbours being difficult, stopping your streaming.
Yeah, well, they didn't know I was. Well, they'd never had a lawnmower and start again. They didn't have their own lawnmower before. They were paying someone to come and mow it when the grass got to fence height, and that someone would come and mow it for them. Or they paid someone to get it mowed. But now looks like they got their own mower and. So I'm going to put up with it whatever Knight said do it now.
We used to tell you so it's no biggie. Yeah. I'm sure people turn up for the stream late because they're so used to you turning up late.
Yeah.
One of these days he's going to be on time and everybody's going to be mad.
Well, I've tried that and no one seemed to say anything. Or they were shocked, one of the two. Simon Dan's got a $5,000 challenge for flat earthers.
Oh, we could have a look at that because I haven't seen that yet.
Right, and Level Earth Observer gets the full scientific slap from Swinging Pendulums aplenty. That's from Wally.
Yeah.
So what's this challenge?
Calvin Stroud's £10,000 challenge regarding his buildings on a flat earth scenario. We answered all his questions, but unfortunately I'm yet to hear personally from Calvin. Anyway, I said if that video reached 25,000 likes, I would make my own monetary challenge for the flat earthers. Well, so far it's reached 37,000 likes, so this is my $5,000 flat earth challenge. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a quick thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes malware and phishing attempts, and unlike other VPN services, we care about our online data. ID theft is an increasing password is compromised. hacklockscan.deal/SimonDan and use my code SimonDan to get a whopping 83% off and 3 months extra free. Right, back to today's Flat Earther challenge. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that I didn't receive a personal response from Calvin Stroud and his £10,000 challenge video. However, a subscriber of mine did speak to him. Here is a short interaction between the two of them. I don't think Calvin will be paying up anytime soon. So my challenge is going to come in 3 parts, and if you can successfully complete all 3 parts, then you'll be awarded with this very $5,000. So let's begin, shall we? Okay, the first part of my challenge involves flat earth photography and should be easy for any of you P1000 wielding flat earthers. We often see record-breaking photos that are said to be impossible on a globe earth, and of course you regularly wheel out the black swan as proof that it's flat. But this part of the challenge should leave us all in no doubt if you can get it right. All I'm asking for is a photograph of a target that is 50 miles away or more. There are a few stipulations though. The viewer or camera height must be no more than 6 feet above sea level. And the target of the photograph should be no more than 100 feet in elevation above sea level. I'd need proof of both of these things as well. If the Earth really was flat, this bit should be a piece of cake. Right, on to part 2. The second part of my challenge I shouldn't even be including. I'm practically giving you this one. Part 2 is all about rotation. Now, as we know, the angular velocity of the Earth is
a 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. I even managed to get Bob in as an assistant for this challenge. Thanks to him. So yes, 15 degrees per hour. The Earth rotates, and you flat earthers believe that it doesn't. So for this part, all I'm looking for is some experimental proof. Now, Foucault's pendulum is a wonderful little device that can use the rotation of the Earth to tell you roughly which latitude you are standing on. All you need to do is set one up with a device on the end that can draw the movement that the pendulum makes as shown in this video. Once you do this, you can then use this equation here to figure out your rough latitude. I will leave this video link in the description as a step-by-step guide. Now, all you have to do is provide me with a Foucault pendulum experiment at 2 different locations on Earth, each location being at least 10 degrees apart from each other. Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to travel. You can find a flat Earth friend who can do the other experiment for you. Now, if the experiments reveal that you are both on the latitude that the globe Earth expects you to be on, then you have proven Earth's rotation. So, in order to complete this challenge, you need to get a latitude result that is the same as your friend's. If the Earth was flat and motionless, there should be no difference. A few stipulations here. As I said earlier, the 2 locations should be at least 10 degrees apart, and also you should both be in the same hemisphere. Also, I'll give you an error margin of 1 degree. So if your results are within 1 degree of each other, I will accept that as you completing the challenge. Oh, and of course I'd require video evidence of the experiments themselves and the results. Practically giving you that one, guys. Right, on to the final part of my challenge. Part 3 involves the stars. Now, we can all look up at the night sky and see the stars whenever we wish, assuming the weather is okay, of course. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, you can look up at the sky and you can see the Southern Cross. It is a very visible constellation. So, all I'm looking for in part 3 of your challenge is a flat Earth model that allows 3 different observers from 3 different locations to view the Southern Cross at exactly the same time. As you can see, the problem with the current flat Earth model is when 3 observers in South Africa, Australia and South America all look due south, they would see very different stars. So, to complete this challenge and bring home the bacon, I need a flat Earth model that shows 3 observers from those 3 locations seeing the same stars whilst all looking south. In reality, of course, on the globe, we know that these 3 observers will see the same stars at the same time. So, bit tricky this one. Well, there we go. The 3 parts of my challenge have been laid out before you flat earthers. Complete all 3 parts of the challenge and this very $5,000 is yours. My email address will be in the description, so please do let me know via that if you manage to complete the challenge. Honestly, the challenge is impossible because the Earth isn't flat, but it'll be fun to watch them try. I'll also be keeping a tally of all the genuine attempts at this challenge on the wall right behind me. So we'll keep an eye out for that. So there we go, spread this video far and wide, show it to everyone you know. We need to get as many flat Earth entries as we possibly can. That's it from me today. Thank you very, very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Please do like and subscribe if you did enjoy it. Just enough time to once again thank Surfshark for sponsoring. Remember, visit surfshark.deals/SimonDan and use my code SimonDan to get a whopping 83% off and 3 months extra free. I've been Simon Dan, have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Tuesday where someone tries to debunk pi. Ludicrous. See you then.
Can't wait for
Try
that
to
one.
debunk pi.
What's the debunking pi? I mean, pi is lovely.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many different options with pi.
Yes, you can have
Well,
Apple,
you know-
blackcurrant, steak and kidney.
I think I could debunk pi. You know, they say pi r squared, but I've never seen a square pi.
No, I've never seen a square
Oh,
pie. Oh, we used to have square pies. I've seen square pies.
I was going to say, we used to get rectangular pies a lot over here in chip shops.
Oh yeah?
Made by a company called Frey Bentos. No, not Frey Bentos. Sorry. Frey Bentos are the ones that come in tins. Sorry, can't remember the name. Don't see them anymore. But yeah, they were like rectangular pies. Again, steak and kidney. Lovely.
We had a pie here that's called Big Ben. I don't know if we still have it or not. It was a square pie. Sorry, I was just getting a smoke.
Oh.
Well, let's put it on to our 3 3 hour mark, Alan.
Yeah, they opened a new what they call free school in Norwich called the Isaac Newton Academy. And I saw one of the students, and she was carrying like a tote bag, and it had a picture on it, and it took me a couple of minutes to realize what the picture was. It was apple pie. It was an apple made up of the digits of pi.
Oh, nice.
And she saw me looking at it, and I went, oh, apple pie. The stupid stuff you do while waiting for a bus at the bus station.
Yeah. Elmix says, show me a pie forming to a sphere. Sorry, it's late. I don't have much.
I like John Rapp's gold smuggling idea.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Oh, I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
Oh, Elmigs, it's easy to make pie stick to a spinning ball. Especially, it's even not that hard to make pie stick to a ball spinning much, much faster than 15 degrees per hour. Or 1 revolution a day.
You mean 1,000 miles per hour?
Sorry,
in 3 different directions. No, you only move in 1 direction. You add those vectors together.
Yeah, add all of the vectors together. And
then you cancel them all out and realize that none of it matters.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think the other one. When they talk about conservation of momentum, and that if the linear speed at that point is 1,000 miles an hour, and you jumped up, you would still keep rotating with the surface of the Earth because unless they've turned gravity off as well, you're still accelerating towards the ground at the same speed you were accelerating towards the ground. Sorry, you have the same acceleration towards the ground either way.
But Alan, you can't manipulate gravity.
Well, that really screws it for them then, doesn't it? Because you can't turn gravity off.
Yeah. Oh.
One direction.
What picture formula? John Rapp said no one ever comments on my picture formula. I didn't know he had one.
He up above he has an arrow with some eyes. That's the only one that I see, unless there was another one that I missed.
Oh,
did we miss it, John? Sorry.
Yeah, Almix. Yeah. That bit of craziness.
Actually, the only formula that I see with pictures is 9 o'clock heroes pi r square.
Yeah.
The Elmix says I only accept photo evidence taken with the Moon Hasselblad. I was screwing with SE Montreal over on Gems the other day.
Again,
there wasn't many people talking or whatever, and SE was there, and another person said g'day to him and whatever, and I said, hey SE, how's the Hasselblad camera going? And then a few minutes later, I said, you're not saying much. You've got to say your famous La La Land quote that you always tell everyone. And then he goes and says that. Well, we'll wrap it up here. I think I might have listened to that, Terry. I don't know if we'll do a Monday day one. That's up to Alan if he doesn't mind just leaving me a link.
I will put you a stream there, Terry. Yeah, I wasn't that. I was. Yeah, fortunately, I was just suffering from my usual bad headaches and tiredness on what was my Sunday, which was like, and I realised I just needed to go to bed and not make myself stay up. But no, if I've set you a stream up, you're welcome to use it, because it auto starts, it auto starts, it auto stops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all.
Okay. I just felt really bad because you weren't well, and I didn't want. I don't know. I didn't feel right on my end. So.
No, I don't know if you're planning on anything on Wednesday. If you're not, I might just do a stream anyway.
Yeah.
Because I might just do it out of Discord.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm only just winging it, or whatever, between now and beginning of May. So I've still got 2 more months to go yet. As long as we touch wood, we don't get another one that somehow creeps through. As long as this is the only one.
Yeah. Well, just realised got a big event happening in 10 days.
There.
I got told yesterday my granddaughter will be arriving in 10 days.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Any particular time?
I don't know.
Whenever she bloody well feels like it.
Actually, whenever the bloody surgeon feels like it.
Oh, okay. They're gonna cut her out.
Planned C-section because of because they don't want anything to go wrong.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, thanks. Oh, who did we have left here? Oh, we had Mute Donkey left. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Mute Donkey.
Yeah.
Steve disappeared. Who else disappeared? Bacon Earth was here for a little while. Steve was here for a little while. Peter was here for a little while.
Peter.
I think John's still here outside, but I think his internet connection wasn't enough to keep him connected to the Zoom meeting.
Oh, John said his neck was a bit sore too. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we had the usual Clive and Elmings and Wolf and Hero and oh, geez, I have to scroll up.
John Rapp.
Yeah, we had
John
all the
Stock.
I think Carl was out there too, somewhere.
Yeah.
Carl
Lurkio was definitely out there.
I'm scrolling really fast. So, Dart was there.
Brainerd was there for a bit.
Surf, Elmix.
Yep, Brainerd, Surf.
Brainy wasn't. Brainy was naked for a while, and Surf was naked for a while. But it looks like they've been fixed.
NA was out there for a little bit.
Oh yeah, NA was naked too there for a little while.
Dart.
Scott was there. I can still scroll, so that's good. I can go. Just getting repeats. Oh, there was a Mute Donkey.
Oh, 9 o'clock hero. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, Irish stew.
Yeah, I can't go any further. That was as far as
Yeah,
I could
Irish
go back.
Stew was there.
Yeah, Brainery there. Thanks, Brainery.
Dart. Scott Bennett popped in.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's anybody else.
No, I
think
scrolled up.
everybody.
I couldn't. Did we miss anyone?
Yeah.
I don't think we've missed.
Renee Me was in for a little bit.
Oh, Renee Me was in there.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you're still here and we haven't mentioned you, get a message in the side chat quick and we will.
Yeah, Dart. Yeah. There we go. Dart did.
Bloody
Dart
talk
did.
some more. God.
Well, you know, it helps with the interactions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more chat we get, the better.
Yeah.
So I know that's another good one for the algorithm on live streams.
They're laughing because you fixed surf.
If any of them want to duck over to Discord for after, they can. I'll be there for a little while.
All right. Night, guys.
Night, Donkey.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Oops, I had to fix something up, but I'll fix that up in a minute. Okay, I'll get rid of that. Okay, night panel, night peanuts. And we're out of here.